Are your hips really limiting your movements and general movement patterns that you wish you could be doing? I'm Coach Paulina, and today I take you through a hip mobility routine that specifically is designed to lengthen your hip muscles as well as strengthen your hip complex. The goal for today's routine is to really help you recognize where your limitations may be and where you can improve. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start your hip mobility routine with hip cars. Find a wall, and the leg that's closest to the wall is your stable leg. The leg that is furthest away from the wall is going to be your active leg. This is the leg that we're going to focus in on the controlled articular rotation of the hip. Place your hand on the wall and just make sure that your whole body is secure. Have your opposite arm out to the side, create a fist, and radiate that tension throughout the rest of your body. Go ahead and bend through your knee and lift in hip flexion. Make sure to keep your knee bent throughout and also keep your foot flexed. From here, open out to the side without shifting your hips. Start to rotate your foot towards the back wall and complete your rotation by stacking your knee right underneath your hip. Let's go ahead and reverse this motion by opening out to the side, dropping your foot to the floor, coming back into hip flexion, then slowly releasing. Let's do one more rotation. Great job. Keep breathing throughout your hip cars. And recover. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Stand tall. Find your stability and radiate tension throughout your entire body. Let's go ahead and repeat this same rotation. And breathing through every part of your hip cars. Let's do one more rotation. Great job. Shake it out. Next up, we have a standing hip flexion stretch. Feet are about shoulder distance apart. Go ahead and bend through one knee and utilize both of your hands to help you pull your leg towards your torso. Let's go ahead and hold this stretch for 20 seconds. Really breathe into this stretch. And of course, this is a balance challenge. So if you feel at any point you need to hold on to something next to you, like a stable chair or a wall, feel free. Good, go ahead and recover. Next, we're gonna do the same position, but for an active stretch. So this active stretch is gonna tap into the strengthening of your hip flexor. Go ahead and meet me into that hip flexion stretch. And when I say 3, 2, 1, you're gonna let go of your leg and tap into the strength of your hip flexor without allowing your leg to just drop back down to the ground. We're just gonna hold for 5 seconds, tap into your core muscles along with your hip flexor. Let's go ahead and get into position. Find your balance first. Ready, 3, 2, 1, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly recover. Let's do one more repetition, then we'll switch sides. Meet me in position. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, recover. Nice job. Those hips are feeling great. Switching legs, starting with the passive stretch. Find your balance, grab onto your leg. Let's hold for 20 seconds. Just breathe into this side. You might be feeling a difference between hips. So take some mental notes here of how you're feeling. And slowly recover. We're getting ready for 2 rounds of your active hold. Meet me at the top. Ready, 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, lower. One more round here, ready? Let's come up. 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, and lower. Good. Whew. Let's come down to the ground. Meet me in a half kneeling position. Create 90-degree angles with each leg. Make sure your bottom knee is right under your hip. Slightly tuck your hips, then physically squeeze your butt muscles. Squeeze your glutes. From this squeeze, you should already start to feel your hip flexor lengthen and kind of feel stretch, just a slight stretch, along with your quad muscle. Slowly and just slightly lean forwards till you feel a deeper stretch, and let's go ahead and hold for 20 seconds. So we're breathing into your hip flexor and quad. Try not to let go of your glute squeeze, so really creating tension through the backside. This is a great lengthening exercise because those hip flexors tend to tighten up throughout the day. Good. Let's go ahead and switch. Same thing on your opposite side. Get into your 90-90, tuck those hips, squeeze the glutes. Let's lean forward and hold. Good. Stay tall and active through your posture. Really just breathe into this stretch. Recover. Next, meet me in a 90-90 position. So we're sitting tall, both legs are bent at 90 degrees. We're going to start by passive hold. So we're leaning into the front leg and holding, feeling the underside of the glute stretch. Go ahead and rotate, square your hips towards your front leg, and from here, slightly lean forwards until you feel the stretch of the backside or underside of the glute. So as we're just holding this stretch, I want you to really fixate on pushing both of the legs through the ground, just slightly, making sure that your entire body is active. Slowly lean forwards and let's hold for 20 seconds. Really breathe into this tension. Utilize your hands here for a little bit of assistance too. Nice work. Slowly come up into a seated stance. And from here, we're going to do the same for your back leg. Have both of your hands behind you and try to rotate your torso towards your back leg as best as you can and as much as you can. And once you hit that rotation, we're going to go ahead and hold, same thing, 20 seconds for your back leg. If you want that deeper stretch, this is when you can push both of your legs through the ground. I recommend just slight pressure, just a slight push through the ground, and then throughout the 20 seconds, you can increase how hard you're pushing through the ground. Last few seconds here. Good. Slowly come back up into your stacked stance. Next, we have front leg liftoffs. So what we're going to be doing, both of your hands, you're going to stack them onto your front leg. So really, I'm pushing into this meaty part, not necessarily right onto my kneecap. So it's like right on that quad, the meatiest part. And from here, I'm feeding tension. I'm feeding a little bit of push into my leg as I'm lifting up and lowering down to the ground. So what we're doing is we're strengthening this range of motion as we're coming straight up and straight down from the ground. Utilize the rest of your body, so your back leg is going to be pushing into the ground as we're going to focus in on your front leg liftoffs. So square your hips towards your front leg and just slightly lean into this front leg. Stack both of your hands and now press, I would say about 50% tension here. We're not going all out. Pressing into your front leg, you're going to give me 5 liftoffs. Ready, lift for 5. Lift 4. 3. Feed tension the whole way. 2. And 1. Great job. Good. Go ahead and shake it out for a second. We're going to go into that back leg very similar to what we just did with the front leg, but instead of lifting the knee, we're going to lift the foot off the ground. This is an advanced movement, so if you can't lift the foot physically off the ground, I still want you to make those connections with your body as if you were able to lift your foot off the ground and just activate the muscles that would be working if your foot was actually leaving the ground. Square your hips towards the front leg. Let's have your hands down for assistance and just slightly leaning forwards into your front leg. Push your front leg through the ground, push your back knee through the ground. Same thing, we're gonna lift up for 5. Ready? Lift for 5. Lift 4. Lift 3. Lift 2. And last one. Good job. Essentially, we would want to get to a point where we're lifting and holding at the top. That is definitely an advanced movement, and you need a lot of strength to do that. So this is just a great way to make those connections to start lifting that back foot off the ground. Cool. Next, we're going to open up your back hip just a little bit more. So lean back onto your hands. Rotate your torso towards your back leg. From here, you're going to push your toes through the ground, allow your knee to lift off the ground, plant your heel onto the ground, and then bring it back into 90-90. So let's go ahead and just do 5 total. This is a fluid and dynamic movement. So we're not pausing at any point, just go through the range of motion that you do have. Good, last one. Nice job. We're going to take all of these exercises, switch over to your other side. Go ahead and establish your 90-90. Let's square your hips towards your front leg. Slightly lean forwards, push your legs through the ground. Let's hold your stretch for 20 seconds. Breathe into the tension. So one side probably feels a lot more challenged, and now we're tapping into that opposite side. Good, go ahead and stack, shake it out. Next we have your back leg. Place your hands on the ground behind you. Start to rotate your torso towards your back leg. For that deeper stretch, let's go ahead and push your legs through the ground, hold for 20 seconds. Doing great so far. I know this back leg can get a little uncomfortable, so just breathe through that tension. Doing good. Slowly come back into your stacked position. Nice work. Next, we have the front leg liftoffs. You're stacking both of your hands. We're pushing into this meaty quad part right next to the knee. And make sure the back leg stays intact with the ground. We're really pushing through. From here, we're going to lift that leg up, and you're feeding tension on the way up and then on the way down. So at no point are you releasing that pressure from your leg. Like your other side, pick what percentage. I would say 50% is a sweet spot. We're not going full 100% pushing into that leg. Go ahead and give me 5 repetitions. Ready? And lift. 5. Lift. 4. Lift. 3. 2. And 1. Great job. Shake it out. Let's keep your hips square to your front leg. Front leg is pushing through the ground. Now it's the back leg's turn. All that we're doing is lifting that back foot off the ground. We're tapping into those hip rotators to really help do that. Ready? And lift. 5. Lift. 4. Lift. 3. Lift. 2. Last 1. And recover. Great job. Rotate your torso towards your back leg. Go ahead and just dynamically run through 5 repetitions here, planting your toe through the ground, lifting that heel up, carrying through this range of motion. Good, last one. And shake it out. Awesome. Whew. If you need to take a rest here, feel free. 90-90 position is a very challenging one, and we did a lot in 90-90 today. Next, we have an active and a passive bear stretch. So let's actually start with passive. I'll show you a front view of what bear looks like, but essentially I'm going to face 45 so you can get a better angle and a better visual of what's going on within the bear sit. So you're sitting nice and tall, driving your heels through the ground, knees are bent. We're going to also visualize that you're pulling your legs towards your torso as much as you can. For your passive stretch, go ahead and hang on to your shins, and we're just going to assist and pull the legs towards our body as much as we can. If you're having trouble sitting up tall in this position, you might want to just extend your legs a little bit more, and instead of grabbing onto your shins, you can grab closer to the knees. Let's go ahead and hold this for 20 seconds, getting into position, pulling the knees towards your body. Bear sit is great for really stretching out the inner thighs, so breathe into any tension that you're feeling right now. Try to really sit tall. Pull a little bit harder if you feel that that's necessary to feel the stretch deeper. Last few seconds here. And recover. Great job. Feel free to sit back, round through your spine, just shake it out for a second. We're going to do 2 rounds of an active stretch, so similar to your standing hip flexor active stretch. We let go of the leg and we were just forcing that hip flexor to really hold your leg up. Similarly, in the bear sit active stretch, we're going to let go of your legs, keep your arms forwards, create fists and radiate tension through your body. And you can't really see me working. You might be able to see a slight shift backwards, but I'm actively pulling the knees and bringing my legs closer to my body, even if I'm not visually lifting and doing that motion. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into your bear sit. We're only holding for 5 seconds, 2 rounds. Arms out and straight. Ready? And pull those legs close to your body. Pull, 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 and hold. 3, 2, 1. Recover. Round through the spine if you need that. Let's get set for another round here. Sit tall, arms out in front. Pull the knees towards you. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Recover. Windshield wipe your legs from side to side. This feels great for the hips just to loosen up after some activation. Last but not least, we have a Cossack squat. So for your Cossack, the best way to get into this position is opening up wide. Both of your feet are going to open up at 45 degrees. And from here, you're gonna lower your hips, really bend through the knee. Let's start on one side. And have your hands forward down to the ground for assistance. Really take your time getting into the bottom of your Cossack. Your opposite leg is going to be straight, and shift your foot so it's pointing up towards the ceiling. Your opposite leg, make sure your knee is in line with your foot and the angle of where your toes are facing. If this bottom of the Cossack is really uncomfortable for you, you can be holding on to maybe TRX straps in front of you, a stable chair, something to keep your posture a little bit more upright versus out in front. If you're at the bottom of your Cossack, have your hands on the ground so you can assist the hover. Next, to switch sides, we're going to slowly and slightly lift the hips up. Essentially, we do want to keep them relatively low to the ground. So utilize your hands to assist you upwards. Plant your opposite foot, hover your hips low, and switch to your other side. So this is your Cossack hover. Let's go ahead and do 4 more to give us a 6 total. Feel free, if you need to hold the bottom for a little bit longer, go ahead and do so. This movement is a great dynamic movement to really finish off our hip mobility routine. Last 2. And last 1. Good, go ahead and take a seat. I hope your hips are feeling buttery. We did a lot for your hip mobility routine. This is a great way to not only stretch, but to strengthen your hip complex. I hope you enjoyed your time with me today. Don't forget to like, comment on this video, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.